The San Diego Prep Insiders basketball podcast is powered by Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Yes.
Guys. Open division playoffs are here for basketball. I know that's not a surprise to any of you because you clicked on the link that said open division basketball playoffs. But Tommy, no, I'm not Tommy. This is Tommy. Christian, either Tommy Braden or Bodie Da Silva.
Two white guys.
Basketball. That's what we're actually here to talk about, and it is the glorious time where finally the open division is here. There's no more debate about who's in or who's out or who's in or who's out or this or that or the other because we finally get to say that ball don't lie.
Yes.
Ball is life. Ball don't lie. So let's just go straight into this without any more pontificating or proliferating or debating because I've now gotten all my essay. Okay, exactly. Yes, this is basically Lin-Manuel Miranda's version of a podcast, and we will now wrap the rest of this. Foothills Christian, number 1. St. Augustine, number 8. Guys, this one is a parfait of interestingness. There's all sorts of layers to this one. I don't want to necessarily drag this into this him versus them versus him. Let's just stick to academically how do we feel about the basketball.
Can we please talk about the lead up to this game and what happened last year? Can we please bring that up?
Oh my, I totally forgot about that.
Oh my goodness. I mean, can we talk about that? Can we talk about the fact that the Saints, the Foothills Christians,
give them your
that
lesson.
Foothills Christians' best player was wearing a Saints jersey just 4 months ago? This is great. This is what everyone wants to see. Mike Hop versus Tayshaun Cherry, Brad Leaf on the side. This is going to be great. And yeah, there's a basketball game as well. Foothills Christian, St. Augustine, the 1-8 seed. I think that Foothills Christian has a lot of firepower. Unfortunately, it's firepower that was inherited from St. Augustine in the form of Tayshaun Cherry. But got to give the other pieces that Foothills Christian has a lot of credit. Derek Carter-Hollinger has evolved into a star. You know,
he's been a star for 2 years already. He won a CIF title
in Division 5.
Yeah, but we were there for that. So.
Yeah. So, but he is morphed into a big school star now. And Yassine Garam, Jaron Nafaret, Dorian Blue. I mean, this is a very good team that is playing their best basketball, sweeping through the toughest league in San Diego, the Coastal League. I've got Foothills Christian in what will be a very fun matchup in which a lot of people will be watching what's going on the sidelines.
Basically, right now, Saints is playing for the 2020 state title. We've kind of addressed that this is a younger team.
This is house money.
So, yeah, this is exactly the word I was going to go with, that Chibuzo, Ogbo, Luke Hopt and company are playing with house money. Anything they do right now is just, you start to go, wow, that team is scary. I'll say this, though. When you talk about the extenuating factors to the point where you guys have addressed them, it doesn't shock me if an upset happens here. I'm going to pick Foothills, but I'll say that I'm picking Foothills with the least amount of confidence that I've picked any one seed in any of these brackets.
Okay. I'm going to take Foothills too. I will say this about Foothills. You're going to talk about, everyone wants to talk about Tayshaun. Obviously, he's a great player, but even without him, they're a great team.
Yeah, no, it's the cast that takes all the pressure off of Tayshaun.
Right.
That makes them so scary.
So even next year when he's at Arizona State, this will still be a good team. So this is going to be a rivalry that's not going to go away anytime soon.
Absolutely agree. Our next game, number 5, Mater Dei Catholic, number 4, San Marcos. Guys?
Hashtag nighttime. I did it. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. San Marcos and Bishops, the 2 nights. I like San Marcos. They haven't proved me wrong yet, so I'm going to stick with them.
Yeah, San Marcos has an offense that I think is still yet to surprise people to the most amount that they can and keep putting up big-time games. This will be the biggest challenge they've faced all season long, other than if you say RBV was a big challenge because they did lose to RBV. That being said, I think that their offense is too strong. I'm going San Marcos.
I would say their biggest challenge was going into Vista and winning on Vista's home court. I mean, that was a grinded-out game. These teams are almost identical twins in terms of how they approach the game. They both sit in very long zones and force you to, make shots from the outside. Both teams have very underrated pieces. Trey Anderson has just been, he's that type of player who can win you a game. Beon Riley, a super sophomore. On San Marcos' side, Cody Clouette has become the best shooter in the senior class and has had a spectacular year. the X factor in this game, I think, is going to be Cody Mathis and Ryan Haygood for San Marcos. They're two bigs. The 6'8" Mathis, 6'6" Haygood. Their high-low action was what got them that win against Vista. In that very key stretch, they would get the ball to Haygood in the mid-post, down into Mathis, who would finish over the top. I think if they can get that going, I think they're going to win this one. And I'm going to pick San Marcos, but in a very close one.
Next one, number 3, Mission Bay. Number 6, Vista. I'm going to be the first one to talk about this one because I want to just talk about the Western League as much as I can. Obviously, we've talked historic season, younger team, yada, yada, yada. Vista, no disrespect, they are a very good team, but they are a team that's about to play their last game of the season because Mission Bay is going to get it done.
I think Mission Bay wins this one, but I'm not nearly as emphatic as you are, and here is why. When you talk about you talk about Foothills having a backstory. This Mission Bay game has been lurking, bubbling, waiting to happen for 3 years. You've got the 2 best guards in San Diego, Torrey Samuels, Boogie Ellis. You've got Marshawn Cherry, Anthony Bolton. You've got San Diego All-Stars and Game Point. You've got so many plot lines and subplots in this game. This is going to be one of those games that I wish I did not have a kid playing the same damn time because this is a game that I would be at.
So who are you picking?
I'm picking Mission Bay in overtime, but remember, this won't be the
bonus selection points.
This will not be the last game that they play because all 8 of these teams advance to state. So, yeah.
I'm going to take Mission Bay, too, and this is one I'm excited about just because of the point guards. The two best point guards that we've had in San Diego in a while. So, well, obviously Jalen Hans. But it's going to be a heck of a matchup, but I'm going to take Mission Bay.
Our final game, the number 7 La Jolla Country Day Torrey is playing against the number 2 Torrey Pines Falcons. Guys,
Tough one.
I'm going to exert my executive authority and go last on this one.
Okay. Again, it's weird that we're picking all of the top seeds to win out because these all could go either way. We could wake up tomorrow and there could be an 8 versus a 5 and a 6 versus a 7, and I would not be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all. These are 2 teams that played each other early in the year at the Coast News Classic Championship. Torrey Pines actually dominated the first matchup. But this La Jolla Country Day team has progressively gotten stronger as the year's gone on. And it's not just Ryan Langborg, even though he is obviously the linchpin of what they do. Jason Taylor has grown by leaps and bounds. Literally growing as we see. Raymond Liu has, become more assertive. Alex Cho is finally healthy after the knee injury that he suffered in football that dogged him most of the early half of the year. This is going to be an exciting, point-filled matchup. I think, though, that Torrey Pines gets it done by the skin of their teeth and the pontiff, blessing us with buckets from above.
Torrey Logan Country Day.
I like that. I like that.
Love it.
Be strong. Be confident. Pick the team that you want to pick.
Homer. 100%. Both of you guys. Like I said, glad there's not Birmingham because I would have picked them.
Look, guys, this Torrey Pines team finished number 1 in our poll, so it would be foolish for me to pick against them. And this is just I'll kind of echo the sentiment of what we said about Saints. It's not quite as much house money that Country Day is playing with, but it's still house money because Country Day ultimately is about next year's team. Next year's team is their pinnacle, linchpin, really, that's the peak of their got to get it done. So still testing it out. I think that this Country Day team drops this one, makes a lot of splash in the state tournament. This is just too deep, too tough, too everything of a Torrey Pines team that there is not as many. There's just no holes. There's nothing you can really poke at and say, oh, that's a way to exploit Torrey Pines and find a way to beat them.
They've got a couple of holes. I mean, Torrey Pines.
I get it later. You know more about basketball.
No. In later rounds, I think athleticism in the front court from other teams is going to give them trouble. And I think that's going to be what keeps them from winning the Open Division Championship because as they move forward, they're going to have to face teams like Mission Bay, teams like San Marcos, or teams like Foothills Christian that really do have that in the interior. But for now, I think they get it done.
And I'll say this too about Torrey Pines. We talk about teams being hot going into playoffs. They've won over 50 league games in a row, which are generally the last games in your schedule. So for the last 5 years, they've been coming into playoffs hot. So it's always tough to beat teams like that.
Deal. And you talk about later rounds. We will get to later rounds. later in this week, in this month, and we will tell you all the information you ever need to know about San Diego high school basketball. Thank you very much for tuning in. Jump around, watch our other bracket videos. I'm at Mr. CPED. This is Real Tommy Morris. That's Full Time Hoops 1. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next round.